Here we are. We were dancing in the background. We were singing and dancing with our new songs. How is everybody? I'm so happy to be here. Another Friday night. We're gonna check in with Lalit to figure out how to dress for next week. What mantra we should use for next week so the crazy gods go past us and the good gods stick with us.
And we need a tinfoil hat or not.
The tinfoil hat. Oh my God, that's funny. Oh my gosh. I'm going to look here and see who's at. And Bora, God bless you. You're here. Thank you so much. It's so good to see you. Cynthia is here. I appreciate you being a member. Then I have Julie. Hello, Julie. And oh gosh, I'm going to try and do it without my glass. Oh, SR is here. Welcome. And I just want to say hello. And really, Charlie Sage of Fire. Marby is here. God bless you. Thanks for coming in. I'm going to try and say it. Hinamara. Hinamara Ama. I think that's it. I hope, forgive me. Gemstone, Joyful, Kim Lee. Oh gosh, it's good to see you all. Thank you so much for coming. Always means a lot to me. Now, while our Lalit gives the report, I am going to watch the chat because we do want to do some readings. So if you wouldn't mind putting all your readings or your questions in capital letters, it would help, and I'll star them. And then I'll have you in a line. Thank you so much. And here we are. Hello, Lalit. Good to see you.
Hi, everybody. Cynthia, I hope you got my email today. I'm sorry I didn't see yours until today, so I apologize for that. So we're going to briefly speak, as we usually speak, real briefly about the astrological events that have just recently transpired that are still affecting us and brought us where we are today. So if you did not see last week's show, which was May 31st, if you want more details about the new moon that we had, you could go there for the details. But just to review, that we had in America, it happened. Here's the chart. Here's actually today's chart. Well, I'll show today's chart in a minute. So yesterday, in the early morning hours in America, for Karina, I don't know what the heck time it was, but on June 6th, we had a beautiful new moon in Gemini with Jupiter, the moon, Mercury, Venus, and the sun all jammed together in Gemini. And it was a very strong event that will be dominating our whole cycle for the next couple of weeks. So there's not a lot to say for today because not a lot is changing. We'll talk about the position of the moon today. That's really the difference. But this whole 2-week period will be affected by the lunation cycle that began yesterday. And we know that Gemini rules communications. And we know that the emphasis for this lunar cycle is communication. And with the entrance of Jupiter into Gemini, we found that we have a quest for wisdom and for justice. The image for that would be in the tarot cards of the Hierophant, of the higher sense of law and higher philosophy. So wisdom and justice is very important, and a lot of expansion in this area. News agencies, for example, being highly affected, and we'll have a very brief astrology lesson for the week, but something new that I have not talked about. And if you did get your astrology chart from me, I sent along the rulerships of each of the planets. That is such an important, like a little dictionary of condensed information of astrology. But you need to know what sign each planet rules. And Jupiter is the ruler of Sagittarius. Now, here's the the news. This is a big deal. When a planet is in the sign opposite, that is 180 degrees away from its ruling sign, for example, Jupiter rules Sagittarius. So when it's 180 degrees away from Sagittarius, like it is now in Gemini, which is the opposite polarity of Sagittarius, it's called in its detriment. And so it often doesn't express its highest possibility. And it might show more of the things that are challenges to that planet than to what is beneficial. So Jupiter, when it's in Gemini, can have the effect of, let's say, something like scattering energy, because it is expansive. Jupiter is expansive. So imagine like a confetti cannon going off or something like that. Maybe your energy is, your nervous energy of Gemini is being stressed out pulled in different directions at the same time. Like example in my life, last week, my main monitor went out on my main astrology computer. And then I needed to get an astrology program set up on the second computer I got to work on for our show and whatnot. And they told me, oh, the program is so big now, we can't send you the download anymore. You have to get a disc in the mail. So I'm like, nothing is working. I'm trying to try that. And so you may have some of this tug of war in your communications devices, or in your mental state, like mentally you're all over the place. You think of a bunch of new ideas. I want to do this. I want to do this. What can I do first? Oh, my list is getting so long. Where do I start? Something kind of idea. So that would be Jupiter in its detriment in Gemini. So every planet has a ruling sign, and then the opposite is where it doesn't express itself in its highest form. Okay, so Jupiter is in its detriment in Gemini, and we know that's where is the detriment to our favorite president, 45, who's a Gemini, and his Jupiter is definitely not hitting the sweet spot, that's for sure. We'll talk about him in a minute. Anyway, to proceed with what we talked about before, Jupiter, so now it's scattered energy and not being centered is the problem that we could be experiencing a little of this week. So watch out. The key word is this: scattered energy, diffused outward in too many directions. So try to focus, concentrate, eliminate that which isn't strictly necessary, focus on the really important stuff. And so whenever you're presented with challenges, know this: these challenges are not coming from without, even though they may seem they are, because each of us is here for our own personal mission. And the problems that we are surrounded by are our lessons. So you have to say, when you're presented with something, you say, what the heck? You say, what is the lesson here for me? This is my lesson. This is my challenge. I've created it. I signed up for it. What is it? What we have to do some deep digging and be honest and accept your responsibility for your circumstances, which we each create our own circumstances, So you say, ask yourself, what am I supposed to learn from this? And you can change your individual reality. Yes, you can, by creating the feeling within you. Because remember, your vibrations do emanate from your spiritual feelings within you. So whatever you're trying to aim to manifest, you must feel actively vibrating inside of you, within you. So you create it first with your inner realm. And so a good way to do this, is to always do your gratitude for what you actually have, and think of all the wonderful things you have, and you build from that, because you cannot create what you don't have. So you have to have it mentally first, in a solid vision within you, and feel it in place, and feeling gratitude for it and joy, and start with that. And then the good blessings will start to flow, and you build upon that. So briefly, I'm going to show you the chart for today, which is very much like it was for yesterday. So you can review that video from last week if you want. But we have all of these Gemini things. In Gemini, we have Venus. I'm pinging on Venus, the Sun, Mercury, and Jupiter all bunched together. And the moon was there too yesterday, but the moon has left. And the moon is now entered the sign of Cancer. Now, if you look at your rulership's chart, you'll see that the moon rules Cancer. So it has its highest expression, and it can express its true nature in Cancer. And it will be here for the next couple of days. So for today, which is the 7th of June, and tomorrow, moon in Cancer. Here's the rundown for your emotional state, because the moon rules your sensitivity, your intuition, your feelings, your home life, your family, your children, your mother, these kind of things. And you will respond very much to the emotional tone and atmosphere around you. You can be dominated by your fluctuating and unpredictable moods. Watch your mood swings. You may often appear irrational to others because you cannot always explain the reason or source of your feelings, which are intense. And anyone who lives with you must accept your ups and downs and appreciate your need for times of withdrawal. So it's also very sympathetic to understanding unspoken feelings and moods of others. And you're sensitive to criticism and rebuffs by other people, and you take that personally. You can be hurt. You can be really hurt emotionally and feel vulnerable. So you need to be forgiving of transgressions by friends or loved ones. They might not even know that they're injuring you in this way. So that is the feeling for the next couple of days of the moon in Cancer. After that, it will enter into Virgo, where you have a more analytical, rational approach to wanting to control your feelings and be more organized. And then into Libra, where you might want to do some artistic expression of music, art, painting, something creative for you. So that's the changes over this week. And I do want to address one thing coming up. Put this on your calendar, because we have an annual event. That's a big one. It's been celebrated by humanity for thousands and thousands of years. It is the summer solstice. It always will happen when the sun is entering the sign of Cancer, where the moon is now, which invokes all of those things with the solar energy. And it's always a big event, in a turning point for humanity. And the moon will be in Capricorn. It's a really important event. And next week, we're going to focus on talking about that. But do mark your calendar for that. And I want to mention one little thing about our situation. People have asked about what's going on with Donald Trump's sentencing and the Supreme Court's decision, and that's coming up for whether he's going to get immunity or not, and what's going to happen with the debates, and what's going to happen with the other big event, which is the Republican convention. Well, just the big thing that's going to be happening is Mars, which is right here in Aries now, is going to be moving forward little by little, approaching Uranus. And all of this is going to be moving into Gemini, with Mars and Uranus exactly conjunct. And it will be felt for some time, but the high point of that is actually the Republican convention. Is when it's at the apex. And that Mars and Uranus conjunct is the most explosive thing that can happen. Like if you're going to be predicting in astrology, once somebody showed me a chart about it was a strange thing. I would never predict a death of a person. in a reading or anything like that. But a friend of mine, astrologer, came to visit me at my house with two of his friends. And there were no telephones at this time. And we lived this was out in the country in Italy. You couldn't get a phone out there for anything. So they just dropped in unannounced. And he had a chart. He said, now my friends here think astrology doesn't work because they think, because his name was Massimo. Massimo was just an intuitive, and he was really psychic, and he could read anything. So they felt that all his knowledge his friends thought it came through his intuition. They didn't believe in astrology. He said, I'm here to prove to them, my two friends that I brought, that astrology works. So I'm going to show you a chart, somebody you don't know. Tell me what you think. So I looked at this chart, and it was a person who'd be in their early 20s, as was I at that time, in their 20s. That was and this person had this Mars-Uranus conjunction in a terrible place on the chart. And I said, well, he's dead. And Massimo went, see, I told you astrology works. So it's a really violent thing. And this person's chart was really bad. And the person was already dead. So I wasn't like telling anything new. It was something, like a thing that was happening. It had just recently happened that he had a car accident and he died, suddenly. Nobody knew it was going to happen. But that is the energy for Trump of this Mars and Uranus. Now, I'm not saying for him it's death, but it is going to be a symbolic ending. He will no longer have power that he has now over other people and over our country, because it's going to be on the wane, and it's drastic. And that convention, when I first told Debra about it a few months ago, I looked at the date and I said, boy, that's going to be a shit show and a dumpster fire. And I normally don't say those words, but it's bad. And it's building up to that gradually. All of these things are going to be affected. Yes, the debate on the 27th of June, the sentencing on the 11th, the Supreme Court should be coming to their decision at the end of this month. And for Donald Trump, there are so many other indications, not just that one thing, but so many, that he has seen in the past the best moments of his life. From now on, nothing's going to get better. It's going to be all like a nosedive in a plane. So
I was dancing in the background. You said that. I hate that, but we are human. And I'm glad we have you, excuse me, to tell us. Excuse me. I better remove myself and cough.
Okay. While Debra's coughing, the divine Miss Debra is, I think, going to give you some wonderful readings today. And I have only 2 screens because the monitor issue is not entirely fixed, but I will be able to show screens. I'm going to call up some people. Like if Ness, I didn't get to answer Ness's question last week. So if you're here, I can do Ness, and I have a little thing for SR, Suzanne, and so Debra will take over for the prognostications, and I'll call up the charts of the people I can do.
Okay, yes. I haven't seen Ness come in yet. But when she does, see, Lalit remembers. She has a little computer up here, and she'll remember the names and remember the questions, and then the next week we'll have it. So please come on back.
And I also have a piece of paper.
Boy, I gotta tell you, I've got paper.
I got paper.
I heard it was a sign of genius. Kaylee says, Mars and Uranus, interesting.
Oh, yes. Interesting is the euphemism for Mars and Uranus. It's, yeah.
Because isn't Mars like
Mars
bossy?
is violent.
Yeah,
Mars is warrior.
And Uranus is get out of the way.
Sudden. That's a tower moment. This is the tower moment with the hit by lightning at the same time.
Wow. So
Yeah.
what's it going to be like for us?
Well,
Us not in
everyone's,
the
we will all feel it. It is happening in Gemini. In Trump's chart, it's hitting the sweet spot, but we are all going to feel the ripple effect, and everyone will have Mars and Uranus in some point in their chart. So next week we can address exactly what degrees that will hit and the other things that will hit in that period after the summer solstice. Well, we'll mostly talk about summer solstice next time, and then a few little things about that wonderful Mars and Uranus thing. But it's happening right at the end of Taurus, beginning of Gemini is where these things are happening.
So remember, this is a new moon, which I call "Give me some of that moon." Give me some of that moon, because this is when you're manifesting. It's like an extra little cookie of manifestation. So
it is. Benjamin Franklin got his start in America with publishing the almanac, the Farmer's Almanac. And farmers know when you want to plant seeds, you plant them at the new moon and in the first 2 phases of the moon only. You will not plant when the moon is waning. Things don't grow. So that's the time for starting your idea.
That must be my problem.
You got to plant at the right time, Debra. In the first 2 phases of the moon, you plant. You can do your root crops in the second phase. They grow underground, but the main stuff.
Interesting. See, I have a friend. I have a friend here where I live. She's a gardener, and she always giving me things, and I just feel so bad for what comes my way. But it took a year, but some strawberries are coming now, so it must have hit the new moon and a good cycle, and it decided to stick around. Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you so much. Any questions? I'm going to just ask for blanket questions for my sweet Lalit. And I don't see anything, the whole Trump thing, the whole Trump and MAGA thing is just so bizarre, but I think it's going to get so bizarre. You really need to be careful with your intake. I was a keep the TV on in the background kind of person, very interested, wanting to be on all of I wanted to do political readings, which I will do, but that was going to be my thing. And I found myself I don't have that constitution where I can just have it as a full meal all day long. So if you're anything like me, you might want to check that. That would be tough.
I see a question from Marby. Marby, I did get an email from you, and I asked you to, I don't know if you had a chance yet to send me, but you didn't include any birth information in your email. So send me that. Date, time, and place.
And if you don't have the time, just say it.
Yeah.
Don't have the time. Oh, sorry, I missed that. Thanks for watching. All right, let me get there was one comment that I thought was funny, nice. Oh, here it is. Now, what does this mean to you? Jupiter, Gemini, 23 degrees, 10th house. What does that mean to you?
It would mean that that means that her 10th Jupiter is at her midheaven. This is 10th house is where you have how you present yourself to the world, like in your career and the way that other people see you in your work aspect, your professional life. And it does have to do with the relationships that you have. And so it's a really good time for you to network, to communicate, to send out.
Yeah, because Jupiter is a good luck chart.
Yes, it is.
Jupiter is your best friend.
So you need to be really communicating with people, and you need to be doing some research. Are you looking to change job?
Okay, I've got to star the last person
because
here.
That would be if you are, this is the time to be really moving on it right now. if you start the process, then momentum will carry it forward in a fortuitous way in the future. So it's a good time for career changes and putting yourself out there, new or changing your image, the way you do things, something different about your job.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Now, I've got my stars here. First one out, and I take them at random. And if you absolutely really need a reading tonight, and that's fine. If there is a super sticker or something, whatever it's called, and you'll get to the top of the list. But here's and this is for entertainment purposes only. It's written in the show notes, but I'll just say it for good luck. Do my loved ones have a message? You know what? I got to tell you, your loved ones are so jibber jabbery. They would love to talk to you. And I've gotten a lot of information about signs. And what to say about the signs. So if you ask for a sign from a loved one and you get one, what do you do after that? You have to do something after that. So here's the white feather coming down, rolling down the street towards me. That's a sign. I think that's my mom wanting to talk to me. What do I do after that? You got to quiet yourself and say, I know you're walking with me. Give me some information to guide me. And then make sure whatever you were thinking about, you shove aside. And if the stock market comes in, just shove it aside. And because your person is right there with you. And also, if you can't figure it out, like right now, white feathers coming towards me, there's my mother. So I didn't just make that up. But if you don't know what it's for, ask, what does this mean? What are you trying to tell me? Then empty your mind and take a little walk and be available for that. It might mean lemonade. I don't know. It could mean it, but what it is a beginning of a language that's very valuable between you and your guides. So, yes, a loved one. So, you know how much I love to talk and do readings, especially messages from loved ones. And I've got, I like to kind of tell people how to do their own readings. So I'll be doing that. When someone wants a message and it's a general message, I ask Spirit first, what topic would you like me to address, or would you like to address through me? So I could feel my way into that. So Julie, the very first card down, I read the suit and it'll tell me what the topic is, and I've got cups. So we're going to talk about your emotions. That is the topic. That's where I go into. And I see here where you may feel manipulated by an older woman. If not now, it's coming up. And that might knock you off your game. In fact, I'm going to go far enough to say this is a person who might have control over it might be your boss. It might be someone that owes you money that's manipulating you to give them more time or something like that. But commerce will go well with you if you own your own business and things like that. But here's the hiccup. And this goes right into what Lalit was telling us about, that conflicting emotions. You will be invited to gossip about someone. This is the lesson in that. Spirit is asking you to just notice when you do that. If someone calls it, did you hear about our neighbor? Did you hear about, especially if it's at work, because I think or some volunteer or something like that, because there's going to be someone who needs to gossip. You'll be invited to join in. I must say it might be a little juicy, but I would it would be in your best interest to say something like, I haven't experienced that. That hasn't been my experience, or something like that. You don't have, you could just walk away too. It doesn't matter. But this is valuable for you. It looks like a good week, and it does look like you can focus. The way the week will manifest for you is that you tend to focus on one thing. And so practice backing up. If you start thinking a lot about something, just back up and whistle Dixie or something to change your mind. I'm going to bless you and leave you with that, Julie. Do you have anything? Sometimes Lalit gets her card. Sometimes she has a message from Spirit.
I have to admit that I was looking at SR's
That's
question.
good. You're planning ahead.
And I got, because I did some cards for her, and I had looked at the question for her before.
So you're preparing for, okay.
That was a long one.
So she's preparing for SR reading. So I'm going to go down. Joyful. What should I focus in my spiritual journey? I wish I knew your number, because that will tell me get closer to your fascination. One of the things that's going to fascinate you in a spiritual journey is what you need to go for. That's just general good information. So if you're on a spiritual journey and you see someone doing a pendulum and you say, oh, that's kind of interesting, that hook, that curiosity is what you go in and play with. You get yourself a pendulum, you kind of research it and spend some time with that. If perhaps it's the Akashic Records, you just move into the education on that. That's how Spirit talks to you, is through whatever you're curious about. I'm going to see the very first card out for your reading too is Cups, which is emotions. And what's interesting is now you are leaning into spiritual awareness for next week, which is where you should be. It looks like you've got some really great cards here. The Sun and Knight of Cups, which is messages of love. You have new ideas with the Ace of Swords. You have the World reversed. It doesn't mean you're going to not succeed, but it feels like what you're going to do is that at the beginning of next week or starting this weekend, you're going to give up some work that you had an imaginary deadline for. And if you just let it go saying, oh, I'll do it next week, I'll do it tomorrow, or whatever, I encourage you to do that. That's your message. So if something catches your eye, and even if it's not spiritual, if you just have this curiosity, then move into it. Now, when I ask Spirit, sometimes I get a person from history come in. And so I had one person from history come in, and I just sat for a couple of hours studying this woman in history. And I learned some wonderful things about her. I learned a story that I still tell people in guidance. I mean, because of what this person did. So if anything you find curious, that's Spirit saying, please look and listen. And Cynthia, hello. Of course, time permits. You're my supporter. Isn't this interesting? Again, now the first card is Cups. Now, so how I'm doing these readings is the very first card that comes out. The suit is the topic. It's not the card. Doesn't matter what the card is. It's just the suit. So I move into emotions. We're going to talk about emotions. And then I move through the line. Then I add another 5 cards. And I see as well I have a Queen of Pentacles reversed. So when I see these, I'm not doing mediumship, so it's not a deceased person, but it's someone that's going to add a little block for your week somewhere along the line. And I do believe it will prompt you into the 5 of Swords, arguing. And you're going to be arguing and arguing. And Spirit is saying, don't give up. Success is right around the corner. So what you need to do is know that it's coming. The arguments are coming. If you don't want to get engaged, just take a pause. This is how you diffuse what I'm getting now. This is how you would diffuse it. Let's say I'm arguing with Lalit. Blah, blah, blah. I don't like you. And Lalit, if Lalit takes a pause before responding, I'm off my game. I'm off my game because my statement just lingers in the air. And then it leaves me a chance to say, oh, I bet I didn't mean that or something. So that's how I would handle this week. Understand that the best way to get through this work, through your emotions, is to take a pause when you're about to talk with someone or respond to someone. So that will serve you well in everything, but especially this coming week. Mix up these cards a little bit. I hope that helps. I'm not looking at the chat right now, by the way. I'm just in the starred chats. Can you do numerology readings? Of course. On your address, yes. Did you give me your address? I think you did. Looking to buy a plot of land. That's the 11242, I believe. Yes. Okay. Yes. Now everyone does it a little differently. I haven't really gone down the rabbit hole of addresses and how you should challenge that. But I figure the house number itself is the house. The street number, like the Highway 36, that's the highway. Now, some that are really into numerology in that way would do the whole thing with the city and all of that. But I just do the numbers, and it adds up to 10. Reduce it to 1. This means there's going to be brand new everything with that plot of land. So I'm going to see what kind of new, and I get upright cups. Here's cups again. So you get, I think you're going, this is a good reading. Oh my, I'm so glad I'm happy now. Okay, so here's the deal. You get a new plot of land you're considering buying, or you do buy. The number and the energetic signature for right now looks like everything's going to come together. You're going to love it. You're going to find success. And the reason I got excited about the World card tells me because you're going to be triumphant over your projects. I think of raw plot of land, and I think of you have to dig a well or something like that, but all of that's going to go by really well. I've got the Sun card. I've got the Justice card, which tells me that the physical contract is sound. This for entertainment purposes only. I do not give any advice like that. I'm just saying that when this card comes in upright, it means good agreements. Let's say that. Now, the only card, and it's not even a bad one, but the only card that would be a stickler is reversed, which is good, and that is the Nine of Swords. Excuse me. The Nine of Swords means you're losing sleep, you're worried. You can't, well, it comes in reversed. It's like easy peasy. So I would definitely think that number would serve you well, very much so. And now I'm just going to skip ahead. And then Dennis, yours came up as 10 as well. So that's all. You could do new things there, fresh things. If it's almost like your moods, your emotions will become beige. I'll just say beige, like nothing's happened in my life. What should I do? Well, the one tells me that the energy will start moving the minute you start doing things that are new. Move the sofa over here, get rid of that picture, that type of thing. Move into a coat of paint. And then just one effort towards one of those things, energy is going to move forward. So that's interesting that I have 2 house numbers and they're both 1. Oh, on your health. Now, remember, I'm not a doctor. I don't do medical. What I'm going to do, your question is on your health. I only read energy signatures. So I can't do your health. A private reading with Lalit, which she has, all you have to do is go to her email address, email her for a private reading. She's got the health thing going on. Now I'm going to do your numbers. Yay, Astrology Vibrations with an S. Yeah.
Plural. Vibrations.
Vibrations. Oh. Okay, so Lavetta, this your personal year is 5, which can be a little bumpy, but usually have some beautiful surprises. Oh my goodness, you're 25/7. So a 25/7 tells me that the 5 personal year isn't going to be a problem. It was when you were younger, but what you came here to learn was to be a little more flexible than what your first. It's just one of the things you had to learn when you came down, and to be flexible with other people, 2/5. But the 7 means that you are very smart, but intellectual smart. You're able to figure out very complicated things and pull them out and be able to educate us all about it. Also, it's like you have an extra doorway or portalway to heaven. And so if you were inclined to study metaphysics, follow your fascination with all the topics and figure out what happens. And so if we were at a race and I was racing you and we were at the same way, the same journey on our spiritual growth, and you would absolutely outrun me because there is an extra portal. You were given that extra sense of psychic sight. So if you wanted to explore that, that would be in your best interest. Bless you and leave you with that. I'm going to go back to that's right. This was for your health. Again, I just want to say that was, I highly recommend someone else in a private reading for that. Okay. And Dennis had that. Here we go. All right.
Dennis has a question. Says, "What will the Republicans do when their Jesus loses his power?" Well, there's an old adage: "The fish rots from the head."
Yeah, that's true.
So things will just decay.
Let's hope, because there's a lot of Trump termites.
Yeah, it won't happen. It took years to build it up, and it's not going to go away in a day. But it will be the end.
And thank you for keeping an eye on the chat, because I can't right now. So I do have the answer for you, Annie. As it stands right now, it looks like you're feeling trapped, and like you might either you want to move and can't feel you can't, or someone's making you move and you want to stay. I'm here to tell you that if you choose to move, your finances are going to be fine. But even though right now you feel trapped, there's a blessing coming around. I have a feeling that someone's going to talk to their sister or brother, and they'll have a house that's just perfect for you, or so, something's going to come in out of the blue to help you with wherever you need to move next. So you sound excited about moving. Will I move in September? Question mark, question mark. You don't have to worry about being on the fence right this minute, but because September is out there. But let me give you some, I always like giving advice. Right now, I have the Eight of Swords for you, which is someone feeling they're all caged with all these swords, but that's a cage that she put herself into. So there's a lot of different things that you might think about. I want to move, but I don't want to lower my standard of living. I want to move, but I want to have it by a certain lake or something like that. There's something that it's for an example, I get this a lot for women who are in awful marriages and they have plenty of options to move away and get away from a terrible marriage. But when this comes up, it tells me that they either will not or cannot give up the support that awful person is giving them financially, or they know that if they do leave, they won't be able to live in the luxury they are now, that type of thing. So, yeah, so that's that. So it says, yes, you will be moving and that it's going to be a great surprise. That's awesome. Now sorry, SR, I went right past you. Okay. Please, can you let me know about a job, paycheck, and where I'll be working? You got it?
Yeah. And Suzanne, I took a look at your chart before we started, and because you had emailed me something. So in reference to the problem that relates to like red deer that you were telling me about, and also about your sister, of your emotional stress that you're going through right now, I really, really suggest, we were talking about this mental energy that's too diffuse, you have a lot of worry and negativity and anxiety and hurt and pain inside of you. So I really want you, I hope your son is on vacation now, but in any event, you need to plan some outings with your lovely little boy that will be something really fun, something that he really wants to do, something that will be joyful, and that will keep your mind focused on positive things and good things, because that will really pull you out of the dumps. But you need to spend a lot of time doing that kind of activity right now to free your mind from that kind of negativity. Now, regarding the job, I drew 5 cards so Debra can see them, and she's the expert on these cards as she designed them. But these were regarding the job, because I did not look at your chart, and right now it's not calling up because my screens are not working right, so I can't see it. But I got 5 cards for your question. Will you have the job, paycheck? I got 5 really good cards. All 5 yeses. This is not normal to get 5 yeses, but so I'll tell Debra what they are, and she can jump in if she wants to add to what I'll say, because she'll have more information. 2 of Swords, the 4 of Cups, the Temperance card, the High Priestess, and the final one being Four of Pentacles. So right now, and well, Debra, the Divine Mystique, will tell us, yeah, elaborate on these. But
So
my feeling is that you're very worried about security, and you're so concerned, and you have this overwhelming fear and attachment to needing security, and that will draw lack of security if you are fearful and worried about and have a lot of this anxiety. So you need to have more faith. And we were talking earlier in the talk about you need to bring into your inner heart the feeling that you have already attained everything you need, and to be blessed in that way. So you don't have that feeling, you're worried, and so that is not going to help. So you need to be less on the worry and bring more joy into your life. And doing those little outings with your son will also contribute to this thing. And you need to have more peace and harmony in your life, and you need to take more advantage of your inner voice and what it's telling you. And I think you need to go for a job that will bring you the Four of Pentacles, the last card, the wisdom that Debra wrote at the end. Play it safe with a secure job. So
good job. Good job.
Tell me more.
So the two of Swords, some people read it as a decision to make. I read it as a pause. Stop your thinking. And the Four of Cups it's because you stop your thinking because you just don't know what to do, because you don't have any energy to do anything, that kind of thing. And we're all like that. Let me tell you, you're not alone. The next card was Temperance, and Temperance tells you to stay in the middle lane. You don't want to go off in any harsh edges. So you don't want to pick fights or push hard to do something like fill out an application. I know you don't do this, but then hound them for an appointment or something like that. I'm being dramatic, but that would be not staying in Temperance. Temperance is just staying even. I can't remember what the last one. Oh, Four of Pentacles means you have enough. And if anybody, it's some people read it as a greedy card, and it's not. What it is, it's just life telling you that you have plenty. You know where all of it is. You're going to be fine, absolutely fine. But if someone comes up and says, "Hey girl, I really could use a loan. Can you give me $100 or something like?" Please say no, because this is Spirit saying that we got everything covered, but there's not a whole lot left over. As far as the job, I don't think it's going to be right away. This doesn't mean you don't look right away, and but move forward at it. But don't be. The Temperance is telling me not to go over the edge with sorrow or despair or anything like that, because it's synchronizing up for sure. It is for sure. Guess who's here? Ness.
Ness is here.
Thank you, SR. I hope that helps. So she says you were going to read for her last week who couldn't find the chart.
Yes, and now I find it, and it's on my screen, and I can't pull it down, and I can't see it, and I can't manipulate it because it's stuck. I actually have it called up here. Yeah, it's in front of my. It's on my monitor in front of this where I normally look to see you instead of on the other monitor, and I can't move it. And it's never happened like this. It's stuck over there.
You can't minimize?
I can't minimize. I click everywhere. I try to move it over. I've been working on this for about 15 minutes. It didn't just happen. And I can't, I just give up because I can see, I can't move the planets around the outside to their present position. I don't know. It's just stuck on the wrong monitor, going to the wrong monitor, and I can't move it. I've never had this happen. Push Windows. Oh, okay.
Got it?
I got it. The little
Bye-bye.
arrow came up and it said push Windows below dock. And I never saw that window before, but that was the ticket. I finally clicked in exactly the right spot. Okay, give me a second here. If you can give me a minute, and you go to the next question, then I will.
Well, I'm just
Can
going
you
to
do
talk.
that? Okay.
Here's another thing she said. She sent me my info today and I can't remember the questions. Oh, I don't know if that was a private conversation. Sorry, it wasn't meant for us. And Gemstone said, remember I said it was cups? It's a riverfront property, so cups make sense. Yay! I was selling my house. This is Cynthia. So maybe when the inspection takes place on Tuesday, I have bite my tongue or the appraisal. If it happens, it's coming next year. I pray not. Oh, you'll be fine, sweetheart. You'll be fine. Absolutely. I'm so happy everyone's here. It's so nice. Okay, I got a question here. I think I'm Ness. Okay. Ness says, talk about the 9 of Cups versus 9 of Pentacles. 9 of Pentacles is the 9 is the ending, it's very, very full end of the cycle. So all of it is pretty big and loud. 9 of Pentacles means that you are an independent person. If you're single, you're fine with being single. And the 9 of Cups means that you wishes fulfilled. You feel quite satisfied. Sometimes they call it the barkeep. And then so that's like celebration, things like that. So Pentacles is tangible, which is money, house, job. Cups is emotional. I'm very happy to be in this pub with my friends. And then she says, what's the key difference between the two? The difference? Well, some people feel there's a decision to be made because it's swords. We had this 2 of Swords. It's all thought. And so some people think that there's a decision. I have always learned it as a pause. It's like, stop thinking what you want to do about the question and let us synchronize up something to put in front of you. Tell me when you're ready, Lalit.
I'm not.
The difference between 10 of Swords and 10 of Wands. Thoughts and action. Did you lose it again?
Technical difficulties. I don't. It must be this overload of Gemini with Uranus entering. I don't know. I've never had this happen.
We gotta call in Jupiter.
Yeah, we gotta
Jupiter come and save us.
Jupiter. Oh my goodness. While we're saying
Jupiter,
I don't know what to say. Ness, tell you what. I feel really bad that I can't do this. Not 2 weeks in a row is not possible. So let's communicate by an email because I'm just really messed up here. Okay, wait a minute. I see. I think I've got it. No.
She says, no worries, Lalit.
Okay, there it is. There it is. I finally figured I'm looking for the wrong last name. I'm looking for under the wrong name. That's it. I see now what it's under because I looked in what I sent you, Ness, and there's the answer to it. Okay, give me 1 second, and I will have. Well, we're out of time, aren't we? Ness, do you want to put in your chat what your specific question is, and I will email you a response because I think we're getting late. And I finally found it. Sorry. So, can I answer you by email? I finally found it.
She says, I will email you the question. She
Okay,
says,
and I will email
worries.
you, and I will email you the response, and I will do that right away. Not tomorrow.
Oh.
I'll do it as soon as we sign off. I will do it because I see your data. I looked on the email I sent you, and there it was in the attachment, and that was the answer to the question.
Awesome.
There was a long way around. I haven't made my chart with all of the emails and names that correspond, but I will do that. This was a problem.
Okay. Thank you, everyone, for coming and being with us tonight. You have many options, and I really appreciate you settling on us for a little time. And we'll be back on Friday. I am working on next Friday. I am working on some side projects and then working. And so I haven't been online, but I want to come in and bring messages from Spirit Day for us real soon.
All right, Ness, I've got you. I was looking under NB, but now I see what your last name is and your name, and I've got it. So send me your email, send me your question, and I'll text. I will do it right now.
Do it right now. Okay. So, all right. Thank you, everybody. It's been so
everybody.
nice.